Yes, I am back. I'm still back. Hi and welcome back. I apologize, it has been a while since I made a last video. I just have been really busy doing stuff, especially playing video games. And I have been playing on PS5 quite a lot. I have completed a couple of PS5 games or PS4 that has a PS5 upgrade. But I've also been playing on PlayStation 1 and playing a PS1 game. More about that in another video. This video is about one of my favorite franchises of all time. Every one of these games, even Size Matters, to me was fantastic. I love the Ratchet and Clank franchise. I absolutely love Ratchet and Clank franchise. From the first time I played a demo on my birthday from the original Ratchet Clank up until Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, almost none of these games are a disappointment to me. Every one of them is fun to play. However, there can only be one. There can only be one good game, and there can only be one of the worst ones. And Rift Apart, sadly, is. Now, don't get me wrong. It's a good game, but compared to all the other Ratchet & Clank games, it falls short. Quite a lot, actually. One of the things that I really love about Ratchet & Clank games is the amazing music. Every level has its own tune, its own style of music. And I'm not a music expert, I'm an expert at nothing actually, but to me it always sounded like sort of magical, out of this world, sci-fi, spacey, weird music. And a lot of I still listen to Ratchet Clank music actually quite a lot. And especially Ratchet Clank 1 and 2 have fantastic soundtracks. Absolutely god tier musical soundtracks. But every other Ratchet Clank games, even Size Matters, still had good music that I really liked. Every time I play a new Ratchet Clank game, I'm always very interested in, oh my god, I'm going to go to a next level. How will that level sound? Well, with Rift Apart, it sounded like they kind of sounded the same. And for when you actually go back to a level, because Ratchet Clank games are sort of Metrovanias a little bit, and Rift Apart also has it that you can go back and collect more stuff. For example, the Rhino parts. I didn't hear any music at all. So just as I said with the Rhino part, I went back to the level with the pirates, very original, and there was no music. Because the music sort of only begins when something happens in the game, when there's a battle or whatever. But just walking around a level somehow doesn't have any music at all. It sounded really weird, and the music that is in the game is pretty good. It's pretty good. I also, to me, Ratchet Clank games are always happy and uplifting. Yes, there are some dark moments, but happy and uplifting. And Ratchet Clank, there are two sections in this game, two sections in this game that tries to be sort of horror. And you hear the sound of boom, boom, boom. I'm like, this is not Ratchet Clank. It doesn't matter what sound you make, it doesn't matter how dark it looks, it still looks like a cartoon. Like a, cartoony game, whatever how you want to call it. It's not scaring me. Why is this in the game? Where is it Ratchet Clank 2 that you also go to sort of an underground lab, and that tune is way better. Way better. So the music in the game is good, don't get me wrong, for just music in itself, it's pretty good. But for a Ratchet Clank game, I was heavily disappointed. I was like, where are the cool tunes? Where is it? Now, graphically, we all know the game looks gorgeous. I have played it on 60 frames. I tried the whole 30 frames, ray tracing, 4K. It looks really good, but playing this game on 60 frames is way better. And also one of the funny things that I found out actually replaying the game is the first level is the most iconic level. The first level is the best designed level. The first level is the graphically whoa level. Every level after that, besides one, you have the mecha graveyard. That one also looked really cool. But every level is probably a level you have already seen in another Ratchet Clank game. You have your underground laboratory, you have your robot factory, you have your swamp forest area. It's really uninspiring. You're like, okay, it looks really good, but I already played this. I have already seen this. And of course, at least to me, I was gushing over the graphics for like 2 minutes and I'm like, okay, fine. It looks good. You know, everything, to me, PS4 stuff still looks good. So I'm not really wowed by graphics anymore. I'm more wowed about everything else, like what happens in the world. So the first level and the level with the mecha graveyard, those are levels I'm like, okay, this looks really, really cool. To me, it really feels that Rift Apart is sort of a DLC. It should have been Miles Morales. You know, it should have been a $40 game, not 70 or 80. I paid 45 bucks for it, and to me, that was way too much. So I played the game and I beat the game, and sort of at the same time, it's really weird, I found out one of my highest requested sort of features for the PS5 or for PS4 for that matter is, can I finally see how much time I spend playing video games? A lot of games track the time individually, but a lot of games nowadays don't track your time. And I was checking out the home front of PlayStation 5 and I saw hours played. And I'm like, no fucking way. No way. This is not true. So I checked out on Google and yes, finally, you can see how much time you spend with a game. Now, I know it's not 100% from what I have read. You have to be online, and some people say that they played a lot more. But at least it shows sort of a tracking, and they're working on it, right? Now, I really hope that it didn't track well, but I beat the game with 93% completed at 4 hours. 4 fucking hours. And you're gonna say that when you got a PS5 early on and you're really into Ratchet Clank and you want to see the power of the PS5, you want to play an exclusive, you're gonna pay 70 or 80 bucks for 4 fucking hours. I'm like, it's actually right. I played like a weekend. Not even true. I played it a little bit. Then I got back to Mountain Blade Bannerlord, and then I played it for an evening, and I fully beat the game up until into the night. So it's probably right about 4 hours, maybe 4 hours and 60 seconds, or I mean 4 hours 59 seconds, minutes. I mean, but you know what I mean. The game is fucking short. This is probably the shortest Ratchet Clank game that I've ever played. There are only like a handful, like maybe 2 handful of levels. And it was quite funny because a friend of mine, she was also here and she was saying like, oh, how far are you into the game? And I'm like, well, most Ratchet Clank games have, 14, 12, 14, 16 levels. So I'm probably halfway. I was at the end. That was the last level. There are literally a couple of levels, completely uninspiring levels that you have seen in other Ratchet and Clank games. And now we're gonna talk about the weapons, because freaking hell. It doesn't matter if the graphics sucks, if the music isn't that great, if the gameplay is still solid. And I am pleased to say the gameplay is rock solid. It was a lot of fun playing Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. However, every new level in every Ratchet & Clank game, you always obtain, or you can obtain, new weapons. And with every Ratchet & Clank game, I'm really excited, like, hey, what unique, really cool weapons are they going to be selling at this vendor in this level? With Rift Apart, it was like, okay, you have your blaster, okay, you have your shotgun, okay, you know, you have your instead of you throwing a grenade, you're throwing sort of another grenade. Instead of a weapon that creates a poison blob, an enemy, it now creates that an enemy freezes over, that you can freeze an enemy. I'm like, okay, okay. Throughout the entire game, there are all weapons that I have seen, or I have seen variations of that weapon. And at the end of the fucking game, you get the rocket launcher. And I'm like, finally, a rocket launcher. So I played a lot with the rocket launcher, upgraded my rocket launcher, and the rocket launcher is just standard rocket launcher. Just I'm like, okay, nice. And then I finally hit the weapon of destruction. The freaking black hole minigun. And you see Ratchet or the other, I actually remember the name of the other character. I'm gonna look at the box, maybe it's in the box. Wait, no, it's not in the box. The other character, the girl character. Damn, I already forgot her name. And you see, they're holding like the weapon like a freaking minigun, and when you actually stand still, they're holding the weapon like that. I'm like, okay, that is a badass gun. And when you actually shoot it, it looks badass, seeing like a black hole minigun. And when you actually fully upgrade that weapon, the sort of the upgraded version actually looks less cooler than the original one, but whatever. But when you upgrade it, you actually create black holes where enemies get sucked into once in a while. That is so fucking cool. And of course the Rhino. The Rhino is always the coolest weapon in the game. Well, not in this one. This one is, spoilers, a sort of a rift weapon. You could see it as a bombardment weapon. It looks pretty cool, don't get me wrong. It looks really big, it looks really alien, it looks really Ratchet Clank-ish. And when you use it, there basically a rift opens in the world and stuff falls down on the enemy. And they've actually done it really cool, like there's stuff from other IPs, there's the T-Rex from Horizon. It is really freaking cool, but it is not as cool as the rocket launcher minigun that you had in Kraken Time, like the huge ass rocket launcher, like bum 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 bum. That was way cooler. That was way cooler. So I'm like, really? That is all they thought about? A freaking bombardment, rift apart stuff? They could have done something so cooler. And that is sort of what I felt with playing Ratchet Clank Rift Apart. As I mentioned before, it felt like a piece of DLC. It felt like I was playing Miles Morales, that is for Spider-Man, and I'm playing Rift Apart, kind of like Ratchet Clank Nexus. Ratchet Clank Nexus was like a small game. And I think Nexus is actually longer than Rift Apart, a full-blown $80 or $70 Ratchet Clank game. I was fulfilled in the sense of, okay, you know, it showed off the power of the PS5, it played great, yay, another Ratchet Clank game, but it felt disappointed when I actually found out, oh, I only spent 4 hours with the game and I had 93% of everything. I mean, sure, you can upgrade your Omega weapons, but yay, you know, why would you do that? A lot of characters that it's always recurring in Ratchet Clank games was basically gone, and you do have, actually remember the name of the other sort of Clank, Kit, but I can't remember the name of the girl. But Kit, you know, Kit and the girl had some history together. That was like 1 minute, like oh, something happened, oh, bad robot, oh, okay, we're friends again. I'm like, the storyline wasn't that great. It was fun, but it wasn't that great. So overall, I have to say that if I would buy a PS5 back then, and I got Ratchet Clank Rift Apart, thinking, oh, next generation console, oh, you know, next generation game, and then probably the first weekend I already beat it, and spend 70 bucks for it, I would be highly disappointed. I would be like, yeah, I told you so. I don't need next generation. So that is sort of my review. It's kind of a long video, sorry about that. My review of Ratchet Clank Rift Apart. It's a good game if you can get it for 20 bucks. See this as DLC. It's a standalone DLC. It's an expansion pack. Even The Witcher's expansion pack was way bigger than this. This is not a full-blown Ratchet Clank game, but it's still fun to play. Hope you liked this video. Leave it in the comments below. What did you think about Ratchet Clank Rift Apart? Like, share, comment, subscribe. And like always, you're gonna see me next time. And now I'm gonna walk over. Whee!